Welcome back to Paul's Railroad. In today's episode, we're going to begin preparing our space for our model railroad. We are in my basement currently, and as you can see, it's not a very large space, but like most basements, this is where things come to die. So it's packed full of stuff, and eventually we'll clear it out. And wait a minute, things come to die in the basement. My wife told me I should come down to the basement to put my model railroad together. Okay, in all seriousness, my wife hasn't tried to kill me in a long time. Well, never actually, but wait a minute. I hope she didn't find out about those 2 trains I just bought. Hmm. Well, I think we're safe. Just you guys can keep a secret, right? Just don't tell her. We'll be okay. Let's get back to this. What you see in front of you are some of the tools I plan on using. Very simple hand tools that almost anybody that owns a home or even an apartment should have if you're going to do this in an apartment. Um, this is my old layout bench. I built this several years ago for a Christmas party we had. And I had a couple of O-scale Lionel trains running on it. Uh, It had mountains on it and other things. And I have since torn it apart, and I've used it to lay out my end scale on it to get ideas of what I wanted to do. The first thing we're going to do today is we're going to start by taking this bench apart. We're going to save the wood and reclaim it for our new bench work because we know we're trying to do this as inexpensively as possible. So that's one reason is recycling. So let's get started on that. And after we're done with that, we'll move on to the walls and I'll explain what's going on back there in that ugly mess. Well, as you can see, we're all done tearing that old train table down. I'm all hot and sweaty, and it's getting late, so we're going to end it for tonight, and we'll pick up tomorrow. We'll get this mess cleaned up, and we'll talk about what we're going to do with this wall. See you tomorrow. Hey everyone, welcome back. This is day 3 of getting the space prepared. We have finished scraping the walls, and we got them washed down. Now it's time to get them painted, so we're going to get them painted, get this little segment done, and we'll move on. All right, guys. Well, it's been a couple days and 4 coats of paint later, and this is what we have. I don't think it turned out too bad. It's not perfect by any means. It's actually just a tad bit darker than what I was hoping it would be. But I think once I get everything installed and actually get some good lighting in here, it'll look better than it does right now. But you know, the basement's dry. That's the main point of doing this, and it looks a lot better than it did. Now, thanks for hanging out with me while I did this. I know this was extremely boring and had absolutely nothing really to do with model railroading per se. But as I had mentioned at the very beginning, I want to document my entire process of building my railroad, and this is part of the process. This is the area I have to work in. It's not a very large area, but it is what I have. With that being said, let's head over to the workbench, and I'll show you what I'm currently working on and a few other things, and I'll see you there in just a second. All right. Well, we're here at my workbench. And if you guys remember at the beginning of this vlog, I was joking around about having purchased two new trains. I did actually purchase two new trains. My wife doesn't know about them though. But here they are. They are made by Bachmann. They're F7 units. Uh, I bought these from Train World, and I know a lot of people don't like Bachmann, but they are DCC for lights and for motion. And they were only $49.99 or 95 at the time of this video on special. And since I'm just getting into model railroading, I'm going to get the specials that I want. And plus, I do like Norfolk Southern. It's one of the trains that does run through my area, so it's kind of nice to have. If you hear my printer running in the background, I am working on a very large project for my layout. Here are some of the parts and pieces that I have finished. This is going to be a very large manufacturing facility. It's going to have an exterior dock for the trains to go up against for unloading, and an interior dock as well for the trains. It's going to be kind of cool. Like I said, it's going to be very large. Part of the building is 2 stories, parts 3 stories, and even a 4-story separate office building. The cool thing about the way I designed this building is I designed it to be modular, and it was kind of a happy accident. As you can see, my print bed, like most hobbyist printers, is not huge. It's approximately 8 inches by 8 inches, and so I had to break this down to fit my print bed, and in doing so, I realized, hey, I could make this building as big or as small as I wanted it just by adding more and more these little wall sections here. Um, and here's a mock-up that I made of one of the little wall sections. This is what it's going to look like. That's the 2-story section. All right, what else we've got going on here is, I don't know if you can see that very well right there. Lift it up for you. Currently, I have designed a B unit to go with these two F7A units. I have not printed out the actual body for it yet, only because I do believe I'm going to have a resin printer first. The details on it are too fine for my FDM printer. With that being said, also over here, this is passenger cars that I designed and I printed. This is a test one. It's not perfect. I did print out a whole another set. It's going to be 5 passenger cars with 1 baggage car. I changed some things up. I changed the roof style up quite a bit. I actually was able to make a roof that has little windows in the top, which I thought was pretty cool. This is really pushing the abilities of my FDM printer as far as detail and the size go. Because this, end scale is pretty small. This is the passenger coach that I keep alluding to that I'm going to try lighting up. And what I'm going to use for that are these micro LEDs. As you can see, sorry for the shadow there, that's the tip of a pencil. Those things are pretty tiny. So I do believe I'm gonna get to work. It's not that hard. I've been doing some research on it. And why I'm doing this for, I'll show you. If you've done any research looking into getting into this hobby, which I'm sure you have if you're watching this channel, a decent passenger car, they'll run anywhere from $29 to probably $69 for a heavyweight lighted passenger car. I'm gonna be able to print 4 passenger cars, 1 baggage car. That cost my material right there is right around $3. And I'm actually going to go, well, I'm not going to go, I did go, and I bought a cart of Bachmann trucks and wheels. Now, I do believe from Train World these were right around $40 for a set of 6, which, okay, so $40 plus another $3. I'm right in the mid-range price of 1 decent baggage car. Now, granted, that doesn't look all that great. It was something I put together real quick, so it was just a fast paint job. And if there's a person out there that's industrious, and this COVID stuff gets gone and the train shows come back, looky here. Actually, there were more wheels. I have some of these wheels on some other cars I designed, but I bought 8 sets of used N scale wheels for $5. Now, I don't like the couplers that are on these wheels, but I just could not pass that up. I kind of use these wheels as like my test platforms. But so if you're industrious enough, if you got a 3D printer, you could print a whole set of passenger cars for less than $10. That's pretty amazing. So these are some of the things I'm going to be working on next. I do know that I said I'm going to do the bench work. I have most of that cut up, but I need to get to modeling. I need to model a few things first, I think, before I get to the bench work. We'll see, though. I've got that itch. Now let me show you. I actually have just a DC 10-wheeler on my track here, my little test track that is hooked up to a bunch of cars that I actually printed on my 3D printer. And let's take a little look at them. Let's bring them around here. All right, let's start at the back here. Now, of course, the caboose I did not design or print. That came from one of my little starter kits we got from Bachman. But these are 40-foot box cars that I did design these and print these. These are 50-foot gondolas. And actually inside, I've been messing around trying to make my own trucks and wheels. Hasn't quite worked out just yet, but we're working on it. I don't know if you can see in that detail. Now these two 55-ton coal cars I did print, but however, I did not design these. I found these actually on a website called Thingiverse. I like them though, but I think I'm going to redesign them a little bit and change them up, make them my own. And of course, we got our little Bachman 10-wheeler here. I wish I designed that, printed it, but I'm not quite that good yet. So anyways, that's what we have going on right now. A lot of little projects we're working on. So this is not a overnight kind of hobby. It takes time. Thanks again for watching Paul's Railroad. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.